Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome, dear devotees. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, chapter number 1. The name of the chapter is the first step in God realization. Today, we are starting from text number 19. Before we start, couple of minutes recap. What did we discuss yesterday? And then Puja Mataji can continue with the Sanskrit of 19th verse. Anyone can unmute and say a couple of points from yesterday.
Prabhu, we discussed about the Ashtanga Yoga. We discussed about how to bring the detachment in our life. So, how the material world can bring the stress. So, detaching from those things and attaching to Krishna, that will be really helpful for our spiritual growth.
And also, Prabhuji, theme was going on that the quality of our remembering and chanting is very, very important. And some examples in the previous verses were given of Khatvanga Maharaj, etc. And so, complete absorption is required if we have to progress like that.
Excellent. Thank you. Quantity of life doesn't matter much, but the quality of life matters. Yes. Anyone else?
Prabhuji, we spoke about how to simplify our lives after a certain age and not be constantly entangled in material pursuits and desires.
Very, very important. Simplifying our life is the most important. At a certain age, we have to be very much consciously aware. But at any stage in life, we have to make sure that we are able to focus in bhakti. We are not getting entangled in this material obligations, especially financial and other things. Yes. One last person.
Prabhu, you very beautifully answered Prabhuji's question around Krishna consciousness is for everyone. We don't need to exclude people just because they are not qualified to become devotees.
Oh, very important. Yes, it's for everyone. And it is for the people. Actually, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita chanting is for the people who are non-devotees, especially. I gave you an example of Rath Yatra. There was someone, the kirtan was happening on the stage, and there were so many devotees dancing, and there one person came and he was smoking in there. And lot of devotees, he was a little bit of drunk as well and smoking as well. And kirtan was going on, devotees were dancing, and he was just spoiling the mood. Obviously, now if someone is there in the middle with all this nonsense stuff, and the mood was being spoiled. So everyone, the devotees and everyone said, "Usko bahar nikalo, usko yahan se nikalo, pura maza kharab kar raha hai." But I went and said, "Usko rakho, baki devotees ko side mein jaane ko bolo." Because the person who is smoking, he needs to hear Mahamantra. He needs to get purified. He needs the association of the holy name of the Lord. And then only he will be purified. Devotees to mandir mein bhi dance karte hai, bhakti vriksha mein bhi sunte hai, ghar pe bhi kirtan kar sakta hai. Where else this person who is smoking and drunk will get an opportunity to hear the Hare Krishna kirtan? So completely different understanding. That is how I look. And that is what Prabhupada looked when he went to America. He saw the people with, he was not judging that they are drinking or they are taking drugs or anything. But Prabhupada started chanting Tompkinson Square Park. There are videos. He was just chanting. People came and danced. People encouraged. Brahmananda was the first Hare Krishna Kirtan. He came and dancing. Prabhupada encouraged. And that's how this, if Prabhupada started judging, then hum kahan pe hote? So very, very good point. Thank you so much. All right, start Puja Mataji with 19th with the interest of time.
Hare Krishna, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text 19. Tatraikaivayavam dhyayed avyuchhenena chetasa mano nirvisayam yuktva tatakina chanana smaret padam yat paramamam visnor mano yatra prasidati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Thereafter, you should meditate upon the limbs of Vishnu, one after another, without being deviated from the conception of the complete body. Thus, the mind becomes free from all sense objects. There should be no other thing to be thought upon. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is the ultimate truth, the mind becomes completely reconciled in Him only. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Who can say who is speaking this verse? और किसको बोल रहे हैं?
Shukdev Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj.
Very good. Thank you so much. So we saw yesterday how the Ashtanga Yoga process, which is Mishra, Bhakti Yoga Mishra. Ashtanga Yoga is not pure Ashtanga Yoga where there are postures and everything is described. It is Bhakti Mishra Yoga. There are aspects of Bhakti. And that's why we see here that meditating upon the limbs of Vishnu, and the last line of the translation, we see the mind completely reconciled in the Supreme Lord only. So this is Bhakti Mishra Ashtanga Yoga. We discussed about controlling the mind yesterday, and it's very, when the mind is controlled, then only this meditating on the limbs of Vishnu, then only this completely reconciling in Lord, Supreme Lord will happen. And controlling of mind will only happen when we regularly do our chanting, regularly do hearing, regularly attend Bhakti Vriksha or our temple services. आज है एक वीक स्किप करते हैं, चैंटिंग आज सुबह नहीं करेंगे, शाम को रात को कर लेंगे, और दिस वीक तबीयत थोड़ा खराब जैसा है और भक्ति वृक्षा स्किप करते हैं और नेक्स्ट वीक करेंगे. इफ वी स्टार्ट गोइंग इन दैट डायरेक्शन, क्या होता है? माइंड बिकम्स अनकंट्रोल्ड. टू कीप माइंड कंट्रोल्ड, we have to have this regular dosage every week, every day, hearing, listening, chanting, वो सब जरूरी है. Then only mind will be controlled. So now this text number 19 coming to the dhyana and the samadhi says yam niyam asan pranayam pratyahar dharana. उधर तक 16, 17, 18 verses we saw, and now this 19 is dhyana and samadhi stage. Dhyan stage, it says one should meditate upon the limbs of Vishnu. And then the last line in the translation takes us into the samadhi stage, where one becomes free from all sense objects, nothing else to be thought upon, and mind completely is reconciled in the Supreme Lord. This process you mentioned about Ashtanga Yoga, we saw previous 3 verses. Leave home, go to the secluded places, sit on a sanctified area. Breathing techniques, pranayam was also mentioned, omkara. External cleanliness, internal cleanliness, we saw that internal cleanliness with about these breathing techniques, external cleanliness, how one should be sitting on a secluded place, then controlling of the mind. All these steps, yam, niyams, do's and don'ts, everything is mentioned, is because the person can meditate on Lord, person can think and remember Supreme Lord. That is the ultimate purpose of the life. And that's why the ultimate aim to achieve all these things are mentioned that needs to be done. And the creation, the purpose of this whole world, all the creation or the existence of human form of life for all of us is this, that we can meditate on the Supreme Lord and we can reconcile completely on the Supreme Lord and nothing else. And that is why you see that because of the purpose of this creation is that a person becomes Krishna consciousness. When people make material plans, it doesn't work. वो होता ही नहीं है. When people make to have permanent plans to become material successful, कुछ ना कुछ हो जाएगा, देखना. When a person tries to become successful, either financially or in any aspect, materialistic person में कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ जरूर आएगा. Some problems will come, the plans fail. We see many examples in say Bollywood or Hollywood. They become big movie stars or they become famous, and somehow something happens, they end up in jail. Some big businessmen or some big personalities, they end up having big businesses, but then the financial crisis comes, some wrong decisions happens, and they are bankrupt or some problems happens. Study में हम many of us, we think अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे, अच्छे से पढ़ाई करेंगे, ऑस्ट्रेलिया जाएंगे, the land of opportunities, और यहाँ पे आके पता चलता है there are very hard to find jobs, redundancy हो रहा है, job में cuttings हो रहा है, and our job is going less salary के we have to settle for some less package or less salary somewhere else, कुछ ना कुछ. अभी आप now some people will say that probably थोड़े बहुत लोगों के साथ होता है. Not all the Bollywood stars go end up in jail. Some of them do. Not all the person makes some mistake. Politicians many times they end up कहाँ पे होते हैं, big ministers, and after some time either they are in the jail or they are executed or they end up in a very miserable state. Because whenever a person tries to make material plans, it will not work. There will be a failure. Some people may not have, like the big industrialists, they may not have financial crisis, they may not have some problems, or they may not go into jail, but they might have health problems, they might have relationship problems, कुछ ना कुछ आप देखना सब. This plan, material plan, will fail. कुछ नहीं होगा तो at the end the person will be gone, everything is, they have to live here. So Durga, this is the Maya Devi, Durga Devi's task to keep poking. Trishul होता है ना दुर्गा के साथ. This is the Durga Devi's task to poke that Trishul, to remind people कि ये दुनिया में आपके सारे material plans fail होना ही है. That pain will be there. वो त्रिशूल ऐसा she will be poking. Because of that pain, the person is reminded that हमको भगवान को याद करना है. We have to establish the lost relationship with Krishna, and that is the ultimate of life, ultimate aim. If anything else, there will be failure in the plans, there will be suffering. हम देखते हैं ना, because this pain, and that is the reason these material plans fail, because this remembering of Lord or establishing the connection with the Lord is necessary, and the pain is very essential, the failure is essential. अभी आप देखते हैं कि कोई one person will put the finger in the fire just by mistake, and there will be a pain, burning sensation, heat, light, the finger will burn. Immediately the child or a person will take the hand back. Why the person will take the hand back? Because there was a pain. If there was no pain and the finger is still on the fire, what will happen? The finger will get burnt, the hand will get burnt, and the person will end up without the hand or the fingers. So the pain is very good, so that it reminds the person to take the hand back from the fire. Same thing, a person is cutting the vegetable, for example. Chaku lag jata hai finger pe. Immediately little pinch or little cut happens on the finger. What happens is the person will take the knife back and person will take the finger away. Because of the pain, the person, अगर pain नहीं होता, then person will keep chopping and finger भी कट जाएगा, and he will end up with lot of bigger problem. So pain is very good because it reminds a person to step back, take care, because otherwise there is a dangerous position. In the same way, in this material world, the material plans doesn't work. People's financial plan, investment, bada sa ghar le lete hain, okay, thinking that I will stay happily in this house. Next month only RBI will increase the interest rate, and then mortgage ऊपर जाता है, and then job में problem आता है, and person thinks अरे यार क्या क्या plan किया था, and क्या हो रहा है? Why is this all happening? Because Durga Devi is reminding us that यहाँ पे settle हमको होना ही नहीं है. हमको भगवान के साथ we have to go back to Godhead. Just like the person takes the finger back from the fire, just like the person takes the finger away from the knife, in the same way we also step back from this material world, and that's why this all material plans doesn't work. But we have to establish the relationship with Krishna by devotional service. I'll give you an example, very simple to understand this same point. Is when a child, अभी दो बच्चे हैं घर पे, and the elder sister has a craft project to make something, and she is using the scissor. Elder sister will make some craft project. वो सब कुछ छोड़ के the sister going to school, और उसका एक छोटा भाई है, a small boy, maybe 3 or 4-year-old boy. So once the sister finishes the craft project, uses the scissor, goes to school, the boy is alone at home. बच्चा क्या करता है? आ जाता है, वो सीजर देखता है, वो try to imitate and copy what sister was doing, and the 3-year-old boy takes the scissor. Immediately what will happen? The mother will come and takes the scissor away from the boy because it's dangerous. No, you can't play with the scissors, it's dangerous, लग जाएगा, तुम इससे नहीं खेल सकते. मम्मी उसका scissor ले लेगी. Then mummy going in the kitchen, बच्चा भी kitchen में जाता है. Then mummy was cutting the vegetable with the knife. Kids, the child, 3-year-old boy also want to imitate. They also will take the knife and want to. Mother takes the knife away from the child. No, you can't touch the knife. It will cut your finger. It's very dangerous. You can't play with the knife. And the child steps back. Abhi scissor le liya, abhi knife le liya. The mother was cooking in the kitchen. The boy looks at the gas stove and जो फ्लेम होता है गैस का, it's blue and yellow, oranges. It looks like a flower. अभी आप देखोगे ना, when the gas is on, the flame is on, it looks like a flower. And the boy wants to touch. अरे ये तो बहुत colorful flower जैसा दिखता है. Let me touch. And mother immediately will stop the hand. No, you will get burned. You can't do this. एंड बच्चा सोचता है कि ये मदर घर पे कुछ करना ही नहीं देती, ना सीजर से खेलने देती, मैं नाइफ लिया वो भी ले लिया, फायर से लिया वो भी ले लिया, सब कुछ मुझे मैं घर से बाहर जाता हूँ. आई एम गोइंग, द चाइल्ड विल से मम्मा आई एम गोइंग टू द पार्क, आई विल प्ले देयर, आई कांट डू एनीथिंग एज होम. और बच्चा घर से बाहर जाता है, मम्मी एकदम से उसको पकड़ती है, यू कांट गो आउट, अरे रास्ते में गाड़ी आती है, यू कांट गो अलोन, आई विल टेक यू, यू कांट गो बाय योरसेल्फ, एकदम से पकड़ती है. ऑल दिस थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग. व्हाई? Because mother wants to take care of the child. If the child wants to do things on his own, अपने हिसाब से जिंदगी जीना चाहेगा, अपने हिसाब से करना चाहेगा, whatever he wants, the person or this child in this example will end up in a dangerous situation. And that's why it is the duty of the mother to take care. And exactly that is happening in this material world as well. Durga Devi wants to save us. Durga means fault. Durga Devi, she is in charge. She wants to save us. She wants to remind us this ultimate aim, what we see here, that samadhi stage, that we can completely think of Krishna. Why we can meditate on Krishna? Why we can think of Krishna? Because if we do that, the person will be able to think of Krishna during the life, at the end of the life, and will come out of the bodily conception, go to the spiritual world and live an eternal, peaceful and happy life. Otherwise, anything here, the person will fail, there will be struggle. The ultimate aim, what is mentioned here in text number 19, will not be achieved. And that's why there are problems, material struggles in everyone's life. Thank you. Text number 20.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम. हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. टेक्स्ट नंबर 20. रजस्तमोभ्याम आक्षिप्तम विमूढ़म मन आत्मनः यच्छेद्धारणया धीरो हन्ति यातत् कृतं मलम्.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Dandavat Pranam. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. One's mind is always agitated by the passionate mood of material nature and bewildered by the ignorant mood of nature. But one can rectify such conceptions by the relation of Vishnu and thus become pacified by cleansing the dirty things created by them. Thank you, Prabhuji.
There are 2 points which is mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in the previous purport, the 19th. First one is, which I forgot to mention. The first point is Prabhupada is highlighting the Archa Vigraha worship, the Lord present in the temple, the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord. Prabhupada highlights the difference between Murti Puja and Archa Vigraha Puja. It's not an idol worship. Idol worship is different than the Archa Vigraha or the established Lord we have in the temple. The difference Prabhupada is highlighting. Murti Puja nahi hai, idol worship nahi hai. They are non-different because of the inconceivable potency of the Lord. There is non-different than the Lord himself in the temple. And second point what Prabhupada mentions is about people doing Omkara mantra. It is mentioned for people who do not relate to the personal form of the Lord, they do Omkar. But better than that is doing going to the temple and meditating on the personal form of the Lord, because that's where service happens. Here we see in Ashtanga Yoga, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi stage. Last stage, person comes to the personal form. While in Bhakti Yoga, from the beginning, Prabhupada writes, it is better for a person to go into the temple and worship or meditate on the personal form of the Lord. Coming to text number 20, what we just read, the first line of the translation says, one's mind is always agitated by the passionate mode of material nature and bewildered. One's mind is always agitated. हमको भी, we see in our own life every day so many thoughts come, so many responsibilities, so much of entanglement, work commitments, colleague के साथ थोड़ा, we have to have relationship with the colleague, family members, relatives, finance, so many obligations, so many material things we have to do. But every morning we come together and read Srimad Bhagavatam. That helps us to realign our aim, that helps to understand, remind us the goal of life, the purpose of the life. And as we say in my Bhakti Vriksha, the main thing is to keep the main thing as main thing. The main thing is to keep the जो main thing है, which is the remembering of the Lord. The main thing is to keep the main thing as main thing. उसको भूलना नहीं है, बाकी सब entanglement चलता है. And here we see what is written. Mind कैसे? The mind is always agitated by the passionate mode and always bewildered. But one has to rectify such conceptions. कैसे करेंगे? Just like many IT engineers, computer people are here. कंप्यूटर में बहुत सारे टैब खोल देते हैं. गूगल क्रोम में 1 2 3 4 5 6 देयर आर 25 टैब्स, सब कुछ खोल देते हैं. एंड देन आफ्टर सम टाइम व्हाट हैपेंस, the system hangs and then everything shuts down and then we restart computer again. So many programs, so many things going on, एक टाइम पे सब क्रैश होता है and then we restart and then we realign कि जो भी unnecessary था वो सब बंद करके फिर से काम का tabs खोलते हैं. In the same way, we come together every morning, read Srimad Bhagavatam. What happens is we realign our goal. We understand what is the ultimate aim. हम जो भी कर रहे हैं, क्यों कर रहे हैं, a human form of life, why we are here, what is that necessary, and then it helps us to remind our goal and establish. In the purport, Prabhupada writes in great detail about pantheism. And I spent almost 2 hours understanding. Prabhupada writes very small, maybe 15 lines, but it's, for me, it was very difficult what Prabhupada is trying to explain here. Because pantheism is about, कई लोग बोलते हैं कि God is energy or God is universe. The universe is there. The universe is look after you. The universe is providing you. ऐसा आप देखना है, especially Australia, I know, or this new age people, or I meet many people. The universe is looking after you. ऐसा बोलेंगे. The universe is so for them to understand the God is a person is not possible. For them, God is like the whole energy. The God is like a universe, and something is happening, the universe is doing, the energy is doing, and that kind of understanding. Prabhupada writes in the purport, this kind of understanding is okay for the beginners. People in the mode of passion, people in the mode of ignorance may have this kind of understanding, but it will help a person to eventually come. How? By devotional service, to understand that God is a person, and devotional service to that supreme personality of Godhead is the ultimate aim of life. Reciprocation, exchanges to that supreme Lord, devotional service. So about when you read this purport, you will see the last line of the purport says, the pure devotee of the Lord knows the art of converting everything into its spiritual existence by this service attitude, and only in that devotional way can the theory of pantheism be perfected. सब कुछ energy है, सब कुछ universe है, universe is providing, everything is God. It is okay for beginners, but the devotee knows that how that philosophy or that kind of thought eventually can be led, that everything can be used in the service of Krishna. Doubting everything in the service of Krishna. So previously, we have seen here that Prabhupada writes, who cannot think of the personal form of the Lord, they can chant the Omkara mantra. But what is the problem in that? Even for here, everything is energy, everything is Lord, everything is universe, universe will provide. What is the problem in that? And even in Samadhi stage, when a person doesn't come to that level of understanding that the Supreme Lord is a person, what is the problem? Prabhupada writes, even in Samadhi stage, the last step of Ashtanga Yoga, Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi, the last stage of even Ashtanga Yoga, in the Samadhi stage, which is the last line of previous verse, that mind is completely absorbed in the Lord. As a stage may be, the person can fail to control the mind. And that is the problem in this particular path. फुल समाधि में फुल कंप्लीटली एब्जॉर्प्शन होगा भगवान का, even though the person can fail to control the mind. And Prabhupada gives two reasons for that. The first one, he gives an example. Vishwamitra Muni, he was in samadhi. Vishwamitra, we know, he was in full samadhi stage, completely absorbed. But Prabhupada writes in the purport, he became victim of senses and he got disturbed by Menka. Apsara, he become disturbed. So Prabhupada writes that this is the proof that even in Samadhi stage one can get disturbed. And the second one is, my mind can think that I am thinking of Krishna, I am able to control the mind, I am seizing my thoughts, मुझे और कुछ सोच विचार आता ही नहीं है, मैं भगवान के बारे में हमेशा सोचता हूँ. But sometimes from the subconscious mind, the thoughts may come because of the previous conditioning, and the controlled mind will become uncontrolled. And that's why Prabhupada writes here that instead of this samadhi or this Ashtanga yoga or this meditation process, devotional service is the only way. When we are engaged in devotional service with Krishna, in the association of devotees, अगर हम डाइवर्ट भी हो जाएंगे लेकिन भक्त लोग हमें बचा लेंगे. So instead of controlling the senses, here we are engaging the senses in the service of Krishna. So that's the difference. All right, let's move 21 and then we'll finish.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Dandavat Pranam. If Sudeep Prabhu wants to read the translation. Yasyam sandharyamanayam yogino bhakti lakshanaha ashu sampadyate yoga ashrayam bhadram ikshataha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. O King, by the system of remembrance and by being fixed in the habit of seeing the all-good personal conception of the Lord, one can very soon attain devotional service to the Lord under his direct shelter. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So here, Sukdev Goswami is mentioning that, O King, O Parikshit Maharaj, by this system of remembrance, ये सारा जो बताया, controlling the mind, leaving the home, going to the secluded places, sitting on a sanctified area, trying to do pranayam, breathing practices, controlling the mind, then dharana, dhyan, limbs of focusing on the, meditating on the limbs of the Lord, then completely absorbing in the Lord. All this process is, by this process, by the system of remembrance, what will happen? The person will seeing the all good personal conception of the Lord. Last में उसको personal conception of Lord. He will understand the Lord is person. It's the last step. And then जब भगवान उनको मिलते हैं, जो अष्टांग योगी होते हैं, जो लास्ट स्टेप में भगवान का दर्शन होता है धारणा ध्यान और समाधि स्टेज के बाद, उसके बाद जब उनको पता चलता है कि लॉर्ड इज ए पर्सन, व्हाट टू डू? वी आर इंडिविजुअल पर्सनालिटी, लॉर्ड इज इंडिविजुअल पर्सनालिटी. उसके बाद करना क्या है? We have to do some devotional service. So the last step, if you see the translation line here, the last line is the person will soon attain devotional service to the Lord under his direct shelter. तो लास्ट में आता है अष्टांग योगा में दिस डिवोशनल सर्विस ऑफ द लॉर्ड. अपना क्या है भक्ति योगा में? When we are trying to follow the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Yoga, the first step begins with the devotional service of the Lord. And the first, even a child just in the beginning stage only understands that Krishna is a personality, Krishna is a person, cowherd boy, and Krishna is Supreme Lord. We have to do devotional service. So you see the difference? अष्टांग योगा क्या बोलता है इधर? कंट्रोल द माइंड, कंट्रोल द सेंसेस, कंट्रोलिंग द ब्रीदिंग, कंट्रोल द पोस्चर, कंट्रोल द प्लेस वेयर यू सिट, प्यूरिफाई, सैंक्टिफाइड, गो सेक्लूडेड एरिया में जाने का, आइसोलेशन में जाने का, मेडिटेशन करने का, ऑल दीज थिंग्स मेंशन्ड इन द अष्टांग योगा प्रोसेस. बट भक्ति योगा क्या बोलता है? चैंट हरे कृष्णा, बी हैप्पी, जस्ट चैंट एंड बी हैप्पी. We do. If you come to our Bhakti Vriksha in Oakley South, we have so many jokes. Ours is like the great laughter show. We have jokes, we have picnics, we have fun games, we have devotional service. We come together, and the best of all is yummy, delicious prasadam, and we grow together. This is what Krishna says. Su sukham kartum avyayam. Joyfully performed. Why to climb? जैसे वो ट्रैकिंग हाइकिंग में जाते हैं, why to climb a mountain very high and try to achieve something which is very higher goal, while here very hard work a trekking person to go ahead. While here in Bhakti Yoga we do devotional service and we get the realization of God by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. एक बार था Srila Prabhupada, there is a pastime, one yogi was there and वो प्रभुपाद को बोलता था तपश्चर्या करनी चाहिए, ऑस्टेरिटी, पेनेंसेस, फास्टिंग करना चाहिए, ये करना चाहिए, ध्यान में बैठना चाहिए, ऐसे प्रभुपाद को बोलता था. एंड प्रभुपाद सेड, आपको भगवान की प्राप्ति तपश्चर्या, ऑस्टेरिटी, फास्टिंग करके करो. और वहां पे एक गुलाब जामुन का बाउल पड़ा था. प्रभुपाद सेड, वी विल गो टू कृष्णा बाय ईटिंग गुलाब जामुन. एंड प्रभुपाद पुट द फुल गुलाब जामुन इन हिज माउथ. बोले तपश्चर्या, ऑस्टेरिटी, फास्टिंग, पेनेंसेस करके आप जाओ, हम तो गुलाब जामुन खा के भगवान की प्राप्ति करेंगे. प्रभुपाद सेड दैट. सो दिस इज भक्ति योगा, वेयर अष्टांग योगा में यू आर ट्राइंग ऑन योर ओन स्ट्रेंथ, खुद कंट्रोलिंग द सेंसेस, खुद सिक्लूडेड प्लेस में जाना, खुद ब्रीथिंग ट्रैकिंग करना, सब कुछ इज ऑन आवर ओन स्ट्रेंथ. बट भक्ति योगा में पहले से ही वी आर गेटिंग कृष्णाज मर्सी and we are getting the blessings of Krishna, blessings of Guru, mercy of all the devotees around us, and then we are progressing. So very big difference. Here we are on our own. Here we have a complete mercy of Krishna. The process is sweet. Bhakti yoga, the process is sweet. The goal is also sweet. And we can achieve that goal, follow the process by following the sweet process. And by eating sweets every day also you can go. So there is the difference, or the Prabhupada highlights, when you will read, you will see the benefits of Bhakti Yoga towards Ashtanga Yoga. It is mentioned here. Okay, we'll stop at text number 21. 22 से हम continue करेंगे कल. Any additions, questions, comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I was just explaining 9.10 to my students in Maya Dhakshena Prakriti, but in that it says that you have to see Krishna everywhere in the, pantheism, for example, what you explained. So that stage is still a progress towards bhakti. Am I right?
100%. Prabhupada, this particular, when you see Krishna, where Prabhupada, when he went to America, people were drinking alcohol. And Prabhupada said, when you drink alcohol, think that the taste of alcohol, or Krishna says, the taste of water is me. And Prabhupada, you said, you think like that. And they were taking drugs and they were feeling happy. Prabhupada said, imagine Krishna is the ocean of drugs. And when you come to Krishna, you will feel that kind of pleasure. So, kahan se bhi, kaise bhi, Prabhupada used to, somehow or other think of Krishna. Somehow or other you think. And when you think, it will help them to elevate, meditate, remember, and then they will progress. So, yeah, somehow or other, a person can think of Krishna. Okay, last 30 seconds. Any questions? 45 seconds, maybe. No. Okay. Thank you so much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna,
Thank you,
everyone.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna
And
devotees.
pranam, everyone.
Hare
Hare Krishna, everybody.